Alright guys, so we're going to try to do the player to movement simplified tutorial. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I've just opened Unity. This is the start page and it's asked me do I want to open an existing project or I want to make a new one. Let's make a new one. So I'm going to click on new. Let's name it. So this is going to be the name of the project. Let's call it car underscore move underscore 3. I'll copy that and then let's go over here. Let's put it on the desktop, right click, so desktop, and then I'm going to go new folder, control Apple V, paste that name in there, click on it, selected folder, looks good. Make sure 3D selected, create project, give it a moment, and wait for it. Wait. Okay, the scene is up, so let's go. I need to have these windows open. I'm going to be working through the project window and the inspector. If they're not visible as you open it, I can go to window and I can find them here, project and inspector. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is let's create a ground plane. So we're going to have a plane that the car can move around on. We need this plane so that it can basically the car will stop falling. The ground is going to act as the physical ground. So I go to game object, 3D object, plane, R on the keyboard for scale, same hotkeys as Maya, W, E, and R. Ground plane looks good. So next I'm going to, let's go get the car that we're going to bring into the scene. So minimize this, we go to the internet, I go to basically Google 3D Warehouse. I've typed in car for a search, we get a whole bunch of cars. I like this new Mercedes. Wait for it, I open it, I go to the downloads tab, I click on the Collada file, it downloads, here's the model, I click, drag, drop onto the desktop, here it is. So this model file is now on my desktop and I am going to open it in Maya. So we go over to Maya, here's Maya, we're going to go file, import, and I'm going to go to the desktop and let's find that car. There's the model DAE, that's the Collada format. Wait for it. It's done. When this window comes up, zoom out a little bit. So I click on it. Ouch, it's missing the back wheels. It was not missing the back wheels before. So what happened was I was working with an existing version of Maya. Let's try it one more time. So I'll go File, Import. I opened up a new scene this time. I had a scene which was already open. One more try. So same thing. File, Import, Car. I just again opened up a new project scene. Import. Wait for it. Let's see. And yes, the car comes through. Crazily, we've lost the color. The inconsistencies are just off the charts. So I select the car. Don't worry about the color for now. One of the things to consider is when I select it, it's coming through in pieces. We need to turn this into one car. Sweeping selection across the entire car. I go to Mesh. I go to Combine. Wait for it. You actually have to click on it. There we go. So I go R on the keyboard. We can scale it down a little bit. W on the keyboard. I want to move it out of the way. What I'm looking at here is you got just these artifacts. These would be probably some type of NURBS curve or construction curves to construct the car. I select all these curves and I just hit delete. We get rid of them. I select the car and I just want to get it kind of close to the origin as possible, as close to the origin as possible. The origin would be, this is the grid right here, and the 0, 0, 0 is at the center of that grid. So I'm just going to kind of position the car over the origin. I'm kind of going below it right now, and that should be pretty close. If I really want to do it right, you could, again, go into an orthographic view, something like that. There's the grid, so we could actually lock it up, and we could V-snap, or X-snap would also be good. So that's pretty good right there. So now what I'm going to do is back into spacebar, I can do spacebar to move in and out of my orthographic views. So I can pop back and forth. I'm just hitting the spacebar. What I'm looking at right now is all these crazy values coming into the car. You've also got a tiny bit of construction history. Let's clean it up. Car selected. I go to modify, freeze transformations, and then I'm going to go again, modify. I'm going to go to the next one would be edit, delete by type history, and watch these inputs. So edit, delete by type history, cleans it up. The model is just clean, or pretty clean right now, so this would be good for working in some sort of real-time 3D environment. I'm going to go car selected, which it still is, and I'm going to go file, export, selection, and let's call it yellow car 2. I'm just going to change it to yellow car 2, export selection. There we go. Minimize this, and let's bring up Unity, and I want to be working in the assets folder right here, so we see the assets folder is up by default. I'm going to grab the yellow car 2, and I'm just going to drag it into the assets folder right here. So drag and drop, wait for it, there it is, car shows up. I left mouse click, I drag it into the space. Look at that, it looks like it's basically on the ground. Looks good. So now what I'm going to do, let's select the car. We can know that it's selected by seeing it here in the inspector. Yellow car, it looks like it's highlighted, looks good. Right now we're going to add a script to this car. So they're going to give the player the ability to move the car around using the arrow keys. So I'm going to go add component. With the car selected, I go down to the bottom, new script, and this looks good. Want to make sure it's C# right there. So I go create and add. There's the script, and I'm going to go to the internet. So on the class blog right here, if we were looking, moving the player, if you come to this blog post, moving the player, and you click on this link right here, it's going to take us to this page, which is the tutorial for we covered during class. The long version, which goes into great depth about how it's being done, is up here. But if I come right below it, we can see that there's a C# script, and that's what I want. So I just basically want to copy paste this C# script. So I can click, drag across the whole thing, Control C or Apple C, minimize this page, and then let's launch the script. So I'm going to double click on this C# script, wait for a second. Here's the default script. We're just going to highlight over everything. I press delete, and then I'm going to go Control V or Apple V to paste that script in here. And then we need this. It says player controller. I need to do a selection across player controller, Control C. I want to copy it, and then we can minimize this. And we need to rename this script as player controller, Control V. It looks like it's giving us too much information here. I just want it to say player controller. We don't want public class. It's giving us, again, too much information. Cancel. The second issue is that when I pasted it in here, we didn't save it, so it's making a tiny little bit of a mess. Alright, let's try one more time. Here we go. I'm going to go back to the internet. I've still got it selected. Just go to the bottom, sweeping selection. I don't want that C at the top. I want just from here down. That looks good. Control C, minimize over here, sweeping selection up, Control V, and then let's save it. Hit the save button. It depends how you select this. I need to actually select the whole thing like this. It's a little tricky doing the selections. I want to take that player controller and Control V. Yeah, I don't want the extra stuff. And you can see it left the letter P. So I'm going to uppercase P and get player controller. I hit enter. Looks good. So the thing that I'm looking for here is this public class. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. Basically, this looks okay, and I don't need this. Delete, and let's just see what's going on here. So at this point, now what I'm going to do is we need to add some more stuff to the car. We had to give it some physics properties. So select the car, add component. Let's go physics, rigid body, add component, physics, and box collider. So the rigid body should give it the effect of basically gravity. The box collider should collide with the ground essentially. So the rigid body should be pulling it down with the gravity. The box collider is going to hit the ground and stop it from falling through. So we've got this cube here. I'm going to go W. Let's just, I can rework the cube. So I can go, let's make it a little bit smaller. So we want to make the box really fit around the car. So let's give it like, it actually has to be bigger in this case. Let's go like 1.5. That's not what we need. I want to do in Z is the axis. So let's give it like 1.7. Not enough. This needs to be like 2.5. Looks pretty good. So it's in the front of the car. I can come down a little bit. Now the bigger one I want to get is the y-axis, and then we got to make this a little bit smaller. So it's going to be 0.7. That looks pretty darn good. I want basically, the part I'm worried about is the base. This is where it's going to stop, and I want it to be basically at the wheels. I can tweak this in for quite a bit, but this looks okay. Alright, so let's give it a go. So I'm going to hit play. You can see it falls, and it looks like it's on the ground, which is great. I hit the arrow keys. Nothing happens. Okay, so to make any changes to this, I have to stop it from playing. So I stop it from playing. Pressing pause will not work. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. What's missing? What's missing? Well, it seems sort of self-explanatory. It's not moving. So what we really need to do is we need to give it a little bit of speed or some sort of vector. So here's speed. It has a value of 0. I give it a value of 1. I hit enter. We hit play again. I'm hitting the arrow keys. Not much is happening. I'm pushing the buttons and I'm seeing values change here. So it looks like something's happening. So maybe we're just not going fast enough. Let's give it a value of 50. I can't do that because look, I have to unpress it. So now what I'm going to do is again speed. You see, after I depressed the play button, it reverted back to 1. So now I have to put 50 in again, and now let's play it. Whoa! Yeah, my car goes fast. It's pretty fast, almost uncontrollable. All right, there. So it's working. The car works. I'm using the arrow keys to move the vehicle around. So this would count as success. From here, we want to go on to the second tutorial where we would actually have this loading on the image target. So there you go.